Hi, my name's John Cordy, and I've got a limp because I was attacked by my dog who has 3 legs, obviously. Right, today's Sunday, and on Sundays we talk jazz stuff. The intro that you saw me playing there was a tune called Little Sunflower, and I was thinking, it's a tune by Freddie Hubbard, I think, trumpet player, and so not every tune in a set needs to be sort of crazy changes, or, you know, a jazz ballad. There's this kind of in-between patch, and I think Little Sunflower, for me, feels like it shares a lot of DNA with the kind of tunes like Maiden Voyage and So What. It's a bit later than those tunes, I think, but you've got this kind of extended period of staying on the chord vamp. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty confident that this is something that a wider audience probably can grasp onto a little bit easier than something like Giant Steps. And I also kind of think this kind of modal jazz, as it's kind of termed, is quite a good gateway in for people that might have come from like a fusiony metal background like myself, and a good gateway into jazz before you go into sort of more traditional tunes. So that's why I thought it might be interesting to break down. So maybe you're thinking, what tune could I learn after So What? Or what other modal jazz tunes are there that aren't crazy? Little Sunflower is one of the ideal ones, I think, for that. So we're only dealing with one chord more than So What. So we've got 3 chords in this tune, and it's not status quo. D minor is the bulk of the tune. And then for the like bridge, you might call it, you've got an E flat major 7, and that descends to a D major 7. There's kind of 2 ways to think about this, and one I suggest is the wrong way. Either it's a really simple, boring tune, like So What, or it's a tune which gives you an opportunity to make it interesting. It's kind of more of a blank canvas than a tune with loads of changes that you've got to memorise and work your way through. So again, that's kind of why I think in a set it works nicely as like a space to sort of meditate and chill, and also it's like one of those tunes which I can sit downstairs and play it for half an hour and that kind of just passes by really quickly. A bossa nova as well, I think would be fair to say. So, as always, the first thing that I'd work on is that melody. The first thing that I kind of arrived at was kind of these more quartal voicings, so maybe stacking fourths. I would work on kind of finding your shapes that will keep those melody notes at the top. So you could do triad based stuff or quartal based stuff. Really, kind of, it's up to you. It's definitely got kind of a D Dorian flavour as well, so I would think of this personally, it's not the only way to think, as kind of the 2 in a 2-5-1. So the main kind of note that sticks out and is the interesting note in the whole thing is a B. So that would be kind of one of those target notes that I would focus on finding where all the B's are in relation to your D. That kind of handles the D minor section of the tune, so if you want a chord melody for this, I'll tab it out in a second after I've watched the UFC fights, and those will go up on my Patreon, kind of a simple kind of skeleton from which to work from. And then the only other section of the song that we've got is this. So a major 7, there's kind of at least two ways to view it. The two that I think are most common. You could view that as either a chord 4 or a chord 1. So if it's a chord 4, which I think it sounds like to me, then I'm going to use E flat Lydian or B flat major. B flat major. The other option would be you could use E flat major, so you could just view that as kind of being the tonic, so you could use an E flat major scale. But to me that sounds a little bit more odd than sharp 11 for some reason. And then we descend that down a semitone, so I would treat that the same and say that that's going to be chord 4 as well of a key, so D Lydian. But so you could think of that as A major or D Lydian. But also with that resolution, I'm thinking more about using kind of D triads, maybe the 9, and then occasionally hitting that sharp 11. Then obviously D minor pentatonic works quite nicely for it, or A minor pentatonic. A minor, D minor pentatonic work really nicely over it. And I think it's also a good tune for kind of working out how to do the melody and comping thing. For me, I like that stuff where you've got a bit of space to kind of pretend like you've got two hands of a piano or whatever. So yeah, Little Sunflower, I think it's quite a simple but cool tune. You've got those 3 chords to think about, kind of 3 homes if you like, where you've got that D Dorian, E flat Lydian and D Lydian. And I think it lends itself quite nicely to kind of meditative playing, and yeah, you bring basically what you want to this tune. Hopefully that's a vaguely interesting breakdown. As I say, if you want the chord melody, skeleton, I'm going to put that up on my Patreon once I've got a chance to write it out. Also the backing track will be up there. I think it's quite a nice spacey one. I accidentally recorded the bass with delay on, but I think it kind of sounds cool anyway. But yeah, let me know if this is a useful video at all, if you could like and subscribe. I've also got a buy me a coffee link, but don't feel obliged to use that unless you really got something interesting out of this lesson, or you had a request or kind of additional questions to ask about this. Feel free to do so in the comments, or use the buy me a coffee link, whatever you want to do. I'm also using the Kemper for this, my favourite clean tones. I'll put in the description my link to the Kemper bundles just in case you wanted it. But yeah, this is kind of one of those other modal jazz tunes that might go nicely alongside something like So What or Maiden Voyage, for tunes to learn, and maybe a nice kind of gateway tune. But yeah, that's how I think about it. D Dorian, E flat Lydian and D major, or C major for the D minor, B flat major for the E flat, and A major for the D. That's just the way that my brain kind of thinks about it, and so I'm trying to play melodies that evoke those homes. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you for another video soon. Cheers.